Back in the kitchen with Made with Love Delectable Edibles. We have Alexandra and Colin joining us today. How are you guys doing?
Really well.
Good.
Thanks.
We are having a very healthy meal today here. We're making some snapper and we're adding some spices, a nice salad as well. Looks really good.
Yeah, this is going to be a really awesome meal. It's so simple. It's basically pan frying your snapper with a bit of our spice blend and lime juice and olive oil, and literally just tossing it on this bed of greens. So very, very easy to do.
Very nice. I don't eat a lot of snapper.
I like snapper. Snapper is a very meaty fish. It's also one of the fish that we can still get wild, which I think is just a wonderful way to buy fish. I like the wild because it actually gets to hang out in the ocean and have a life and then get caught. So that's my slant. But really sort of almost steak-like, I find snapper, whereas some of the other fish are very soft.
Okay. Yeah. Where did this snapper come from then?
This came from Cooper's Foods.
Yeah, they had really nice fresh snapper today, so we thought that was a good place to start.
And so basically I've just got the burner on low, hopefully.
Yeah,
and,
I'm getting a little bit warmer for you.
Getting a bit warmer, so I'm going to put it in on low. I often find that I'll do this in the oven and I'll just lay it all out in the tray and then broil it. That's just my preference.
Yeah, with the oven over.
Yeah, with the oven over. But
fantastic.
All we have here is a bit of olive oil and lime juice, and then I'm surface sprinkling it with our pesto garlic blend.
I find with a really good quality fish, like I like a halibut or a cod, you really don't want to overdo it. Like a nice spice, maybe some like a lemon or a lime, but you know, adding too much sometimes I think can also ruin it if you try to start covering up the flavor of that fish,
absolutely,
right?
Yeah. I like the pesto garlic because it has a nice sort of basil richness to it, a little bit of garlic, so it gives you a nice sort of fresh flavor. A daring dough is also a really good choice for fresh fish.
Oh, for sure. Like on salmon would be excellent. Very nice. Now, what's the key to this? How do you know when you're not overcooking it? Because I always worry about that with fish.
I always find, you know, when you're thinking about fish, I always think of eggs, and people talk about that element of the proteins basically congealing with the eggs, and it's very similar with the fish. You're looking for, I don't know, that moment when you can see the meat in between the ribs that will constrict a bit in the case of it, and it just becomes a bit wider between the muscles, and it just sort of...
The same as cooking a steak, it's just getting a little bit more solid to the touch, and with the fish you're waiting for it to just go opaque on either side.
Okay.
So it goes from the clear color to the white color, gets a little bit of browning if you're doing it on a high enough temperature. And then you give it a flip and cook the other side. So generally fish is only sort of a 5 to 10 minute thing tops. Really, we're leaning more towards the 5 minutes of cooking.
Fantastic.
And then what I'm doing over here to go with the fish is we're gonna make a bed of baby greens. And we're gonna use the Crimson Love Spice Blend. And this guy just has a really lovely rosemary and garlic flavor, but it has all of the nutritionals of dried ground organic beets. So as a dried veggie, the beets just taste sweet. They give a really nice natural sweetness, a little bit of saltiness to the recipe, and that beautiful bright crimson color. And then what I'm gonna add as well is rice wine vinegar today. And I'm actually just gonna start with a tablespoon and just work that into the Crimson Love with a fork. There's a recipe for a vinaigrette right on the back of your bottle. Do you see how quickly, I don't know if you guys can see that, it sucks up all of the liquid almost immediately. Because basically when we're dealing with those dried veggies, what we've got is super concentrated superfood. So we took all the water out, so a whole vegetable, like a whole beet or a whole tomato, dries down and gets ground into this little spoonful. So when we cook with those really high veggie content blends, we're actually adding a lot of nutrition to go along with the flavor. So I've got 4 tablespoons or 1/4 of a cup of vinegar in there. I'm just gonna work that through.
That's looking awesome.
Smells good. The fish smells excellent.
And the fish is coming. One thing I'm realizing about the fish is distribution's important with that sort of thing. I might have cooked this with a flatter pan to make it easier and to get the heat more evenly distributed. And that's significant.
It smells divine. I think the lime juice, it's always the lime juice for me that makes everything smell so good.
Yeah, there's just something about lime juice.
Yeah, there is. Absolutely.
Totally.
We are going to take a quick break. We're out of time. We are adding some honey here, I see, as well, to this lovely recipe. We can talk about that in a minute when we come back. We are chefing up a very nutritious lunch today. We're making snapper with pesto garlic spice, a lovely salad, and it looks like it's almost ready. Delicious.
So I'm going to show you what I've got here is this dressing. I've put 1 tablespoon of crimson love, a 1/4 cup of rice wine vinegar, 1 tablespoon of honey, and now I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of olive oil. On our recipe on the back of the bottles, it will actually tell you you can do 1/2 cup of olive oil to a 1/4 cup vinegar, or 3/4 of a cup olive oil to a 1/4 cup vinegar. So the percentages in a vinaigrette are really personal choice. Traditional sort of French vinaigrette is 3/4 oil to a 1/4 cup vinegar. But I find if you add a little bit of sweetener and a nice gentle vinegar, like the rice wine vinegar, you can kind of go half and half with your oil and vinegar and take that fat percentage down.
There's a lot of good options for salad dressings with your guys' spices. I don't often do it. I sometimes just sprinkle the spice on the top of my salad, but you know, adding a few extra ingredients, you can really make it fantastic. Take a look at this delightful salad that's being tossed up right now with the vinaigrette. It smells heavenly.
Yeah,
really
so
nice.
I've got some baby greens tossed with the crimson love vinaigrette, and then basically I'm just going to plate them and top them with the red snapper that Cullen's done. And that's just going to give us a really nice protein on top of our salad.
Yeah, and this is like an extremely healthy dish. It has the snapper, which is just a lovely fish. The crimson love, I'm not quite too sure what the nutritionals are, but it's really high in a lot of really healthy things like beet powder and spinach and that sort of thing. So it's an excellent thing to add to any of your food.
Looks great, you guys.